In doing research, I found one of Stan's inspirations was a guy named Edward Edson Lee, who wrote under the name of Leo Edwards, who, this is one of the more embarrassing typos in the book. His books, one of them, he wrote the Jerry Todd books, one of which is called, and the Poppy Ott books, which Stan talks about in interviews as being big inspirations. And there's one called Poppy Ott and the Tittering Totem. And because we live in 2012, I kept, the captions keep saying the Twittering Totem. So the second printing, I will correct that. But in the bottom left is something called Our Chatterbox, which was Leo Edwards' Bullpen Bulletins. It was a series of books, and he would talk to the readers. And because I think it was an interview that Roy did with him, Roy said, were you inspired by the EC comics? Because they very often would talk directly to the readers. And he said, not really. It was more Poppy Ott and Jerry Todd. So that was an interesting find. There's that Rolling Stone article, which is a Marvel with Herb Trimpe. That article was written by Robin Green, who went on to become the producer of Sopranos and many other TV shows, but she was Stan's secretary. And then she became a freelance writer and wrote a profile of Marvel. This is the beginning of Stan and Marvel becoming celebrities. This is from the 1972 election. It's a Spider-Man commenting on the different candidates and ultimately escaping back into fantasy. This is Stan and John O'Neil Sr.
What's the difference?
I don't know. Less and less as time goes on. We have a section on some of the more interesting things I found in the archives were projects that never came to light, including ones from Will Eisner and Richard Corben. Eisner had pitched, whether it was his idea or whether Marvel came to him. Roy was at the meeting, he doesn't remember very clearly, but pitched an idea for a humor comic, for humor magazine that would sort of be somewhere between Man and the National Lampoon. And so there's an article about that, and sort of trying to figure out why it didn't fly. Eisner, of course, is famous for the Spirit. March 1st, we're having a celebration of Will Eisner right here, by the way, because it's Will Eisner Week. Will's birthday is coming up. It would have been on March 6th. And then again, as Marvel and Stan got more well known, here is a Stan endorsing, I think it's Hathaway shirts. And I found that old Hulk and Dr. Doom ad for, where Stan earlier had done some shirt sales, but a little different. This was the famous Hulk sweatshirt, where he's got a rope in his hand, and on the back it turns out it's a spoiler alert, by the way, but he's pulling like a little wood bunny. This is Stan becoming a persona man, where for some reason people thought that if you knew that Stan Lee used persona blades, you would too. And in the bottom, we can see that Stan was thinking about shaving even 10 years earlier. What's with you guys? If Galactus is planning can somebody read that better than I can? Galactus is
planning to take our planet apart.
Take our planet apart, and you're making like a TV shaving commercial. So just interesting echo. Here is, I found and reproduced the pages from the screenplay Stan wrote for Alain Resnais. Actually, the two of them. This one is called The Monster Maker. It's about a producer of genre horror movies who decides he wants to do something more serious. The characters in it have names like Rosita and Larry. This is an interview with Lee and Kirby, again from WBAI in 1967, that I found. The tape of the archives had it transcribed. The interview was a guy named Mike Hodel, who had more of a career actually at the Pacifica Station in Los Angeles. And it's a fascinating interview because, of course, it's Lee and Kirby, and that love-hate is there, and it's, their interaction and their differing opinions on things, whether Marvel should be proud that it's successful, or they should still pretend to be the underdog. And here's just an illustration from the interview. Again, this is just, that team at their peak from the Captain America story. Here's the last work that they did together. I found in the archives the script, the pencil, Xerox pencils with notes from both Stan and Jack, and letters back and forth from them, about, it seems they're trying to clarify who came up with what, or, it's again very interesting for scholars or just fans. But that's a letter from Stan to a fan saying, "I'll only do the Surfer again if Kirby comes back to draw him." Well, Kirby came back to draw him, and that's it. And so I skipped past some correspondence. There's the splash. There's at the top is Kirby's, in an earlier era he would have put in side notes, but this he typed up. There's Stan's script at the bottom. Here's another page with Kirby's plot based on a visit that Stan made out to Los Angeles to spend a day or days with Kirby plotting this. So there's Kirby's description of what's in the panels. There's Stan's on the right hand side of the Xerox is Stan's dialogue. You can see him crossing out and rewriting it, and the same with the typed script at the bottom.